I hope you enjoyed that. And I am sitting here with both playwrights, Barbara Genovese, who wrote The Duck Who Came In From the Cold, and Sean Davis, writer of The Quixote Club. Thank you. So this has been quite a long journey for both of you, I would imagine, and for me as well. But please tell me how you got from the first words on the page to here, in a summary, if you would.
You can go first.
Well, The Quixote Club was actually a short story that was published in a Portland State literary journal called Pathos Magazine. And I loved it. It was only like 4 or 5 pages. And then a couple of years later, I thought, let's make a short film out of it. So actually, you were the director on that. And we had that Quixote Club curse, I guess. We shot the first day, and then the second day, the actors call me up like, do I really have to come in today? I'm hungover, or the location didn't open for a long time. And then, so we passed it on, and then you started doing this great thing. And you called and said, hey, can I use that script as an example? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So, and that's how it happened. You had already had a whole season, and then I finally got a slot, so it's been so popular. So I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. And I've been witness to part of the evolution of Quixote Club. So
The script's changed a lot, right?
It's changed a lot. I like the way it is now.
Well, I wrote it when you can still smoke in bars, but so those were vapor cigarettes that we had. But yeah, so now you can't anymore.
So could you talk just a little bit about how the script has changed from the earlier drafts?
Yeah, I mean, it's evolved. It's just the actors or I have to thank Robert and Maya and Todd and Josh and Tim and Caitlin. Everybody's just, I wasn't prepared to see how they turned the characters into real people and how it just worked so well. It was really amazing. And so as it went, you know, Robert's like, well, what if we make this character this way, and can we do this? And they were great, because I'd go to all the rehearsals. I think the writers should go to all the rehearsals and do rewrites. I mean, we had 8 revisions total, and it was just so that's the whole evolution. And then making the characters their own and kind of changing it, and ended up looked like it was like I did it, but it wasn't really me at all. It was these guys.
And Barbara, with The Duck Who Came In From the Cold, it had another title, didn't it?
No, that was
Wasn't
the
it
original title.
Genovese the Duck? It wasn't called that?
No.
Oh. I just remember an email from you that said that.
Oh, I was being funny.
Oh.
I worked on KBOO's The Sudden Radio Project for 5 years, and each month I produced at least one script, and this was one of them. So it hasn't changed, except that the actors gave life to the words.
And so, well, the short play format, I mean, fortunately, being in Portland, we have a lot of opportunities to present short plays, because someone's already, you know, some upstart companies are already producing a 10-minute play festival. What about the short play attracts either of you?
Well, I don't just write short plays, I write full lengths also, but for radio, I had to limit myself to about 10 to 15 pages. So it forced me to say what I needed to say in a prescribed amount of time. So that was a good discipline to learn that.
For me, it was my experience with trying to do short films. These actors don't have very long attention spans. Just make it really short for them. No offense, guys. No, it was a lot of fun, you know. Trying to put a little story arc, or you can't really do a story arc, but like a theme to one of those short films. You know, this one was supposed to be Don Quixote and dreams, and they didn't follow, but I don't know, it was a lot of fun trying to pack it all into a little spot.
So what I'm hearing is and I've written short plays myself, it's an economy of language. You have to force yourself to really create a whole world in a very constricted amount of time.
Oh yeah, comedy is so hard, but trying to do it like all in that compact, you're challenging yourself, I think.
Right, and trimming out all the fat. I remember just going over and over and over and making sure that anything that didn't need to be there wasn't there, because the ear picks up very quickly. So I didn't want people who were listening to have to labor or stop and think. I wanted it to flow very smoothly from one idea to another.
And does did you guys still laugh at your own lines?
God, hysterically, I couldn't believe it.
I laugh harder when no one else laughs, I think. Like, that was so funny. You guys missed it. Joke's on me. Yeah, we had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
And now I have to ask, in particular, why the duck in the bathtub? Why did that come to you? Where did that come from?
I've been thinking about that. So it's true. In the house that I grew up in, no animals survived. I was lucky I survived, and the animals didn't. They fared much worse than I did. So sometimes writing is a process of reclaiming. So this was a chance to take back something that had been taken from me, which was no pet survived in my house. And I also live on 35 acres of protected wetlands, and there are critters out there. And I swear to God, the duck changes. There are ducks on the pond, and their intonations change. It's never the same thing. And before that, I thought ducks quacked, well, on one-note Johnnies, but they're variations. And I just got to listening to it and imagining it coming into my house. It was very satisfying.
So did you actually record them, or did you just take mental notes?
No, I just listened.
He did a great job quacking, too.
Yeah, wasn't he? They all left. All my actors left.
Oh, they did? Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to do bows afterward. We can't tell them that.
They left. We'll have to, find their phantasms that are left in the energy plasma around the studio. Yeah.
I wrote the Quixote Club. Well, Maya and I have put together a small, we're going for a nonprofit status called A Rock or Something Productions, and we're trying to get returning veterans into the arts, stage, writing, music, fine arts, everything. So it just made a whole lot of sense. Everybody, except for Caitlin, we always do this to her, sorry. Everybody up here was a veteran, myself, Archie is a veteran, so I think you go to a play and you'll say, hey, that was pretty good for a bunch of veterans, but actually they did an amazing job. I think it was just pretty good, it was a good play. So, and plus, I was actually on the cover of the Portland Tribune. It says Suicide Vet. I have it around here somewhere, but my whole family called me that week.
I'm sure. Is that when we were holding the rifle?
No, it was just me staring off blankly. They didn't tell me what it was about.
And there are at least 2, maybe 3 members of the crew that are also veterans too. In addition to me. So. No,
we met. I had the funniest story. Who was about? They thought he was dead, and he came home and surprised his wife and his buddy. It's great. So you get a bunch of vets together. They just start telling stories. I love it. It's great. Yeah.
Well, I have more writer questions for you.
Oh, good.
Why do you write? Why bother? I mean.
Why not?
How does it make you feel? What do you get out of it? What do you want to happen to it?
It happens to me. The words come to me. There are times that I try to turn it off, but it gets me up in the middle of the night. When a story wants to be told, it wants to be told, and there's no way that you can stop it. So what I find myself doing is being in service of what's coming through, what I'm hearing, what I've stepped out of the way for, so that it can have a voice.
And John?
I write, it's similar. I mean, there are stories out there that I think that need to be told. I mean, I think it's bigger than me. I think just the stories. And really, that's what we're trying to do, going back to the veterans thing, but getting them to be able to write and tell their experiences, because it's really a great experience for me to get, I don't know, those demons out, but just to get the story out and just working through certain things. That's something I really hope to share with other people. I think it's bigger than you. I'm sure you write, right?
Yes, sure.
Asking me, why do you write?
Because I like it. Well, Well, then you found, we're speaking as writers, that characters speak up, and maybe you go in a direction that the character or even the story is resistant to, and you end up back on that road.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing who shows up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or who decides they want a bigger part in the story. Wow, okay. Listen to you. Yeah, that's great.
And well,
it's also a chance to make the world anew the way that you want it, to recreate an experience, and to play God in a sense. You get to create a world that's all yours. No one can take it away from you. But there are risks that come with that, aren't there? Because it's like the movie Field of Dreams, right? If you build it, he will come. Well, a lot of unexpected things happened in that movie, didn't it? And I think the same is true with writing. You open, you surrender to it, and then kind of hang out with what happens and what comes through.
And how do you know when you're finished?
I stop editing. I mean, seriously editing. When I finish, I'll edit and edit and edit and edit and edit. And then something just says, all right, that's it. I don't want to muck with it anymore. I think it's pretty good. I could probably change a little here, but it's good enough right now. I feel comfortable putting that out into the world. And I take a lot of time with my work. I don't just throw up on the page and then subject other people to it. I sit with it, and I sometimes put stories away for 10 years at a time before I will go back and touch it, because I'm not ready to deal with what came out and to take it to the next step. So I'm very, very careful and cautious that way.
And John?
I don't know. I mean, when's it done? It was done when I published it in that magazine, and then it was done when we made it into a movie. I always keep changing it. So I guess Fade to Black is done until the next thing happens.
And I believe working on some questions from the audience. So I have a couple more. Why theater?
To me, it's the greatest instant feedback for a writer, getting to gauge what people are watching and how they react to it. Unless I'm like sitting next to somebody as they're reading them a story, but then they might be obligated to laugh, So in a theater, if I'm in the back row, they don't know that I'm there, I can see. So it's great, yeah, I love it. I have to do some more of it, definitely.
So why theater? Okay, don't cry, but when I was growing up and I was doing artwork, my mother used to make me walk my artwork out to the trash, so that was a nix on the artwork. Theater was the only place where she couldn't touch me, so I started out as an actor on the other side of the lights, and then made my way back to the other side and found my writing voice, so that's why theater.
And stepping back, so you finished the play, and you're happy with it, no more rewrites, it's good. And then it goes into rehearsals. And what happens then? Do you see things that maybe I need to change that? Or
definitely. Like I said, we had 8 revisions of this play. I think every writer should go to as many rehearsals as possible and work as closely as Robert and I work together, because he would have these great ideas about these characters, and how much thought I put in it. I called Timmy's character Young Man and Caitlin Young Woman, but Robert actually gave him histories and everything. And so I see that, and I'm like, all right, he wants her to be stronger, and then I'll rewrite it. So the revision process, I think that should go on as long as it can.
Barbara, what changed for you once you saw the play on stage?
Well, the actors gave voice to it, because before that I had just heard it in my head, and we had recorded it at KBOO. But once an actor gets a hold of it, they bring their history and their inventiveness and their creativity to it. And to hear the duck, we roared every time he opened his beak. So they expanded beyond what I could have dreamed of, because once chemistry starts working, and Sharon, who also left, cast just the right people, some magic happens, and you live to see that magic happen.
Well, we were cracking up in the control room during both plays, watching both plays. So
well, the duck was pretty good, though.
Yeah, the duck was great. Do we have questions now? So we have some questions from the audience, from our studio audience. Thank you. Was it, Sean, this is for Sean, was it difficult to find vets who wanted to act or get involved?
No, you know, you'd think, no, I mean, not at all. After finding Maya, I worked with Josh, and I said, hey, Josh, I'm doing this thing, and it's more like, actually, I outranked Josh and Timmy so at one time, so I just make them do it. No, no, they were interested. You know, I just tell them, hey, we're doing a play, and like, yeah, I want to get into that. You know, Josh, I don't think Tim or Josh had acted since high school, and it was just another outlet. So it was a lot of fun.
And this is for Sean again. How do you hope this will help vets?
Well, like I was saying, for me, writing, you know, writing about the incidents or whatever had happened, it really helps. You know, you get it out there because it's buried inside of you, and you get it out. But as far as like acting go, I mean, Maya went across the country doing the telling, and you know, you don't get like this feeling like, oh wow, it's over now. But I don't know, it's out there, and it's not like you're reliving it, but you're expressing it, you know, and so, and it gives, like Josh was telling me the other day, sorry Josh, but he's like, this is awesome, because if I wasn't doing this, I'd be on the couch drinking tonight, you know, and so, and that's what I really want to happen, because I believe that people need an extended family, and veterans have an extended family to an extent, but when they come back, a lot of us just go dive into the bottle, but like, if you have this going on, so you know, healthy activities in that extended family, that'll really help them out. So that's how I hope it'll help.
Now, Barbara, we haven't talked about your connection to veterans and the VA.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at the VA on a project, and they have a program called Pathways. And I applied. I designed a creative arts writing circle for veterans with PTSD, taught a class, and Sean and I were talking about this, so I think we're going to team up later and try to get that going again.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because the last assignment I gave the vets was to write a haiku, which is a very stylized form of Japanese writing, and they, to this day, I can't write a haiku. One gentleman in the class self-published a book that he wanted to sell at the Wall in Washington, D.C. Some of the vets had never written about the Vietnam War, if you can wrap your mind around that. So it was an extraordinary process to create a safe space for them to feel comfortable to express whatever they needed to express, and sometimes in a roundabout way, which got them closer to expressing what maybe didn't come out in the class, but at some point it will express itself, I believe. You just have to start it. It's that old, if you build it, he will come. One thing follows another.
Well, we have another question for both of you. It is, do you have a regular writing practice, and what is it?
Well, one of the things I do is I write down my dreams, so that's a regular practice. When a story is ready to come out, it makes itself known, and I know what that is. It's like having a kid at your side that wants attention. You just know when it's ready to start. And before that, a lot of it is just thinking inside and giving it time to prepare and articulate itself.
Did you dream about the duck?
What?
Did you dream about the duck?
You know, I'm not sure how that came about. When I worked for KBOO, I know every month I set myself, I said I'm going to write a script, and I'd sit down and whatever came out, and that month it was the duck's turn.
I'm an editor on Silk Road Magazine's Pacific University's lit magazine. We have our own Hubris Press. You know, we do films. I have a 2-year-old, a wife. I have a full-time job, so writing practice. I try to get up like at 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the mornings before I go to work to write for 2 hours. But you just squeeze it in, like you said. You know, when you're writing, you have to get it out, so it comes out in certain places. You know. Maybe I slack at work too much. I don't know.
But
it works.
You find a
time,
way,
yeah.
don't you? Because it has to, I don't know about you, but if I don't, I get sick. So I don't want to pay that price. So I just figure out a way to do it. And oftentimes it's getting up, just setting the alarm and getting up a little earlier. And I write when my editor's asleep. So
I write in the late hours when it's all quiet and there's not a lot of
our daughter does not go to sleep, so that doesn't work. She's a battery.
All right. Well, if that's all the questions from the audience, I'd like to wrap this up by thanking you both very much for.
Hey, thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sean Davis and Barbara Genovese. Thank you. And the crew, and your remaining cast and directors, if they would come up and take a big bow.